All right, joining me today is Isaac Dulgarian, who fights Yadier del Valle at UFC Vegas 110. That fight November 1st. So, Isaac, I want to start here. It's been a year in between fights. What have you been up to in that time away from the cage?
Man, I've been training the whole time. I've been ready to fight basically since January. And then finally got a call a couple months ago about this fight with Yadier. So yeah, I've been training, taking care of my family, taking care of my daughter, and riding dirt bikes. That's about it.
So tell me, I got to ask then, so you're saying you're ready from January. Obviously, it's got to be frustrating not getting the call to fight until November. So, mindset wise, how have you been able to handle that?
Man, I don't really have a camp for my fights. I train year round. Um, every Monday through Saturday. So it's the same stuff. Just I know I'm getting better. I'm improving, and I know it's going to show over time. So over time, I keep getting better. Every time I step in the cage, I look better. So
And out of curiosity, too, I have some people who say, when they've been outside of the cage for a little bit and they get an opportunity to sort of work on themselves and not be in camp, they actually feel like they're growing more because they're not focused on somebody or things like that. Do you feel that way about this time away, or because it is so similar when you're in and out of camp, is it, not that no growth, but like the same level of growth as usual?
I mean, yeah, no, it's great to not have to worry about a fight sometimes because, like you said, like you don't really have to focus on dealing with them, so you can have fun. You can try new things. You can experiment with different attacks and defenses and stuff like that. So I think that really helps as well. So it wasn't like the biggest deal other than me needing to fight to provide for my family. Other than that, I know I'm getting better. I'm improving. So
Well, that's good to hear. Now, I did want to ask you quickly about the last fight because you're coming off of a fight where you were the biggest favorite on the betting books in the history of the UFC. Since, go all the way back to people betting on the sport all the way back in the early 90s, you were the largest betting favorite. The numbers got as high as like negative 3,000. What was it like being sort of like, obviously respected by the books there, but respected in epic proportions by them?
I mean, I didn't think a whole lot about it, but it is kind of scary, because you have the fear of failure, and in that moment, like if you lose that fight, you're gonna hear about it forever. So I mean, that's kind of scary, but it's not like the biggest deal. You just have to focus on what you're doing, focus on the fight. I knew my opponent was going to be as game as possible. He had something to prove, so I just had to be ready and believe in my training, believe in everything that I've done leading up to that, and make it happen.
Now, I know you've mentioned your camp a couple of times in here and like working with the guys. Now, I obviously got to ask you about the recent successes and the upcoming fights of guys in your camp too. Yusuf Zalal, I know you're a big part of his training camp. We got to see him go in there, not just win his last fight, but like dominate in epic proportions in ways that I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to. What was it like to see, Yusuf sort of have his moment in the sunshine like that?
Hey man, that's awesome. I don't wish ill will on anyone, but the good thing is that shows the level of guys that we have at Factor X. It's just about going out and performing. So we have some of the best strikers, the best grapplers, the best cage grapplers in the world. So I'm surrounded by those people. I kind of know where I stand in that, and it's just great to be around people that are succeeding like that because I know I can do it next.
And I know everybody, talks about having a training camp alongside of one of your brothers, one of the guys in your camp, and how that sometimes helps push you to the next level. Obviously, you got David Onama on this fight card, not just
Yeah.
on this fight card, headlining this fight card too. What's it been like being able to sort of, time your peak with him as you get closer to fight week?
It's pretty cool because we do like our strength and conditioning together and stuff like that. And me and David go back to when I started MMA. He was at my first gym back in Kansas City, and then we kind of moved out here to Factory X together. So, it's a good experience because I'm used to him. Like I know how his fight week works and everything, and how my fight week works. So, it's gonna work out good. He's an awesome guy. I love David. I'm excited to see him perform as well. And I believe it's his first 5-round fight as well. So super excited to see that one.
Awesome. Now, I want to take you back to what you said before. A lot of dirt biking recently, but I also saw something else you've been doing in the time away from the fight. Did I see a beach wrestling tournament that you competed in? Tell me more
Yeah.
about how you get into beach wrestling.
Well, basically, my lady, she was a fighter before she had my daughter, and she wanted to get back into competing a little bit, and so she wanted to do the beach wrestling. I was like, all right, I'll go. I'll just ride my jet ski around and have fun on the beach. And then we get there, and then I get sucked into it. Um, and they're like, "You want to do it?" And I'm like, "No, not really." But it's just a bunch of people from back home that I know a lot, and they were running it, and they convinced me to do it at 170 pounds, and then they stacked my side of the bracket. I thought I was going to do like 2 matches. I ended up having to do 4 uh, against the best guys in the bracket. So I was pretty tired after that because I was supposed to be on vacation. But it is what it is. It was a fun experience. It's a lot different than normal wrestling in the sand or grappling, but it was a fun experience for sure.
And so, you got to tell me, you said they convinced you to take it. How much convincing did you really need, though?
Oh man, like I said, I wanted to ride my jet ski around the lake. Lake of the Ozarks, a beautiful lake.
Mhm.
I wanted to do that, but they're like, do it. And I knew if I did it, I'd have a target on my back, and the people that I was competing against would give me their best. So I was like, you know what, whatever, we'll do it and just show them what's up.
I love it. I love it. Now, speaking of showing somebody what's up, let's talk a little bit about this fight with Yadier del Valle. Obviously a fighter who just debuted not that long ago, right? He debuted in May, but like super impressive. All of a sudden, people are hyped on this guy. What were your thoughts on this being the name they brought you for November?
I was just happy to get any name, so it wasn't like he's just another opponent for me. But he's a good fighter, and I think it's a good test of my skills. So I really like it.
Well, and talk to me a little bit stylistically about it. Obviously, we don't want to give everything away here, but talk to me about how you feel about stylistically what he brings versus, sort of what you already like to do.
Well, I think he's supposed to be a good grappler. I think that's what I've been told. He's supposed to be a black belt, and he's got a good Cuban style boxing. So I'm hoping to showcase my striking and showcase American wrestling. I'm one of the best wrestlers in the country. I think everybody's seen it and knows that. So, it's just time to go out and again show them what's up.
All right. Well, I always like to end these things with a prediction. So November 1st, when you show them what's up, how's this one end?
Man, I'm not really sure. I think this fight. I think he's a tough cat. I think he's going to be hard to get out of there. I think he's going to be hard to do anything with. He's a big, strong guy, but I think I can get my hand raised. At the end of the day, I think I can get my hand raised.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. This has been Isaac Dulgarian, who fights Yadier del Valle at UFC Vegas 110. Once again, that fight, November 1st. Isaac, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.